of this prestigious conference call. I think all the media individuals are jealous of me for being the first one to be here. Jeremy, Joe, Joel, it's an honor and a privilege to be a part of the Buddy Pro Wrestling conference call. My first question is a serious one.
Oh, no.
Between John Moxley and Bryan Danielson, who has the better booty, in your opinion, Sir Bookers?
Jeremy, do you want me to go on that one? That feels like my expertise.
You take that one.
Look, I think at some point you have to look at this very simply. And, you know, a man that has dressed in ring as Bryan has for all these years, I think he's clearly the victor. And to be quite frank, I've seen some of your work and I think you're good at what you do. But I think considering we give you the privilege of being first up here, it feels like that. I mean, that seems pretty cut and dry, right? Jeremy, I don't want to be dismissive of our guy here. He's a great journalist. But I mean, Bryan, he's been showing that thing for 15 years now. 20 years. As says saying. Mox, on the other hand, kind of a coward.
Bryan has a booty complex. He hates booty, Joseph. He went after.
Doesn't mean he hasn't got one. Doesn't mean he hasn't.
He has one, but I think it's the syndrome where you get the small car. You know what I'm saying? Here, Bryan hates. I think what he actually is. I kind of think that's
a great big asshole.
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know how to follow that. I don't know.
There's no follow-up questions, Joel. Get things in order here. Kick them off.
I was under the impression that we were having at least 2 questions, including a follow-up.
1 question.
Well then,
we have a lot of people waiting, and we got to get through all of these.
Our next question comes from Roberto O'Neill.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Actually,
what platform does this guy represent?
He's our lead. He's our Meltzer. He's our lead dirt sheet writer. He's our lead dirt sheet writer.
He spent an hour just complaining to me, so I did it.
Okay, fine.
Robert O'Neill.
Okay. So I actually have a 2-part question for you guys.
No, 1.
Sorry to hear that.
What do you think is going to be the legacy of BPW, and are you proud of the work you've done?
Booty, and yes.
See, you know what, actually, that's a good question from Robert. I know he works hard on this stuff, and he'll get there one day, but I think the legacy is just thinking outside the box. I think it's taken what Eric Bischoff gave us as kind of the forefather of this promotion, with the variety show approach and the wrestling buffet, and it's taken it to its fullest. I mean, murder mysteries, Fast and Furious parodies, good professional wrestling matches every once in a while. Vanessa Bourne playing Jim Cornette. There's a lot of good here within a territory that really has 1 hour of television, if we're being honest, because the other show, no one's supposed to watch that anyway. So, look, man, I think the legacy's complex, and I think after these 2 shows, it'll be even more complex. And look, we love a mystery, right, Jeremy? We love ourselves a mystery. That's all I'll say.
We definitely love ourselves. Get O'Neill out of here.
Our next question comes from John Alba from Spectrum Sports 360.
Hello, my friends. As the only legitimate journalist on this call, I have 2 very important questions.
One question, John Alba.
Number 1, what are your COVID protocols? And and number 2, is this counted programming?
Jeremy, you go.
We were on Thursdays first. I will have you know, we have always been on Thursdays first. I don't know who is on Thursdays now, but we were definitely here first.
We own the night. We own the night.
That's right. COVID protocols. We take our athletes' word for it. Yeah. All right. We trust their opinion on what they have to say. And we take their word. If they say they're vaccinated,
Jeremy,
they're vaccinated.
We do give them a form, and it's very simple. It just says, "Are you simply built different?" Tick through. If they say they're not, that's when we have to kind of look at things differently. But thus far, built different, you're in. That's what I would say.
We haven't had any issues. We've not had to shut down. We've had nobody that had to pull out of the show. We've had deaths, but we don't believe they were COVID related. We believe they were just murders.
Gotcha. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, John.
As John Alba pops off, our next call and our next question comes from Kate Hensler, representing On Deck.
Hi. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having me. I was honored to be credentialed for this. With the Forbidden Door open, I was just wondering if there will be any cross-promoting in the future, if there's any open doors with other platforms, lesser than you guys, clearly, but are you looking to put anybody else over?
I mean, Jeremy, if you're being dismissive here, right? No, right? I mean, this is... Look, I think our intention is always to go straight up the middle. Okay, and now that we've completed that process, we're not looking to go back down the middle. We went up the middle, no down the middle. Frankly, they're not on our level. They just haven't got the booty we've got. And that really, I don't want to simplify things here. It's an art form, but that really feels like the answer. Right, Jeremy?
We have the best collection of talent out there. So I don't feel like we need to, if you want to be the best, you come to Booty Pro. We have the Yeti, the Zombie, the Shockmaster A. We have the best talent out there. We don't need to cross promote with everybody. We're signing everybody else too. We've signed the Butcher and the Blade recently. Stokely Hathaway. We're signing all the best talent. We don't need to work with anybody else. We're just going to take all their talent.
Okay, I mean, I have no follow-up to that.
There is no follow-ups, Joel. It's done. Jesus, Joel.
I really just wanted to see how long that could go. Next up from I think it's called Fightful, Sean Ross Sapp.
Hey, I wanted to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to be on here. It's big for my career and for you all to allow some straight white male representation on these media calls is very important.
We have females, Sean. I don't want to see
they're taking up all the
tweets. Listen, there are no females on this media call.
Well, I was sick of not seeing any straight white males on this thing. It's not fair. But I do have to have a follow-up after this. It is important. But I want to know, why haven't you all fired Velveteen Dream? Why haven't you all fired Velveteen Dream, and what are you going to do about him?
I knew you.
Frankly, coverage has to be gone now, right? You can't ask legitimate questions now on a wrestling media call. Okay, there's no time for that.
Why?
Because this is not what we're here. We're here to promote fake fights. Okay, if you can ask me about who I think is going to win the fake fight, I'll answer that. Serious questions about why we employ someone that has allegation against them, I can't do that. Sean, you know that too.
Well, clearly, you haven't done your job, Sean, because we never hired him.
I know, but I want to know why you haven't fired him.
Jeremy, we give you a chance.
We fired Clint Gilberti. We've killed people.
Why haven't you fired him? And listen, I understand you don't want to answer that. So my follow-up is, why haven't you fired Velveteen Dream? And what are you going to do about it?
We give this guy a chance. As the one white guy, we bring him on. There's none of them interested.
Nobody on this call better be asking anything else.
Disgraceful.
Get him out of here. You're banned. He's banned. He's banned.
That's why you never take a shot on guys like that, Jeremy. You never take a shot on guys like that. There's a reason there's none of them in wrestling media, let me tell you.
Well, with that in mind, I welcome Luis Pulido.
Good evening, gentlemen. Hope you're having a
It took 5 questions until about Velveteen.
We're having some technical difficulties here, folks. Hold tight. We're going to steady the ship a little bit here.
I think we're under control now.
Okay.
He's a menace. Anyway, I wanted to ask you guys about the constant pattern about murders going on backstage. We've seen a lot of frequent. So I wanted to ask you, what are you going to do to address that situation, and what are the next protocols after Booty Pro?
We've got our best guys on this. We've got Sherlex and Stoke on this. We are working on it. Come on. It's okay.
Great fear. It's great fear, Jeremy. Let's be honest. We don't have to defend ourselves on this one. It's one of the great pieces of cinema, and we're finally bringing it to wrestling. I was told when those two dipshits at WrestleMania had their little dust up, I was told everyone wanted films now in their wrestling. And that's what we did, right? Brought murder mystery. So, look, is it ideal that people are actually dying? No. I'd rather change that, personally. Obviously, I'm representing Gallows today because every show we do is a tribute to him, obviously. Clearly, it goes without saying. But, look, we're all for our wrestlers living, but if we can get an angle out of it, they could also die.
It's not an angle, Joseph. This is real. These are real murders. We're not booking these people to get murdered. There's a legitimate killer.
We booked a couple of them.
Yeah.
That's why we're allowed to leave.
Is there any legalities going down besides Sherlex and Stokely, or is it just them two?
No, it's all in the contracts. We establish with guys when they come in, like, it's a dangerous workplace, and if you want to wrestle on national television for us, you get all the benefits, but you also have to deal with the reality that one day you could just get killed. I mean, and I think that's fine. Like, look, we're consistent, and as long as we're honest with the talent, I think we're kind of in the clear, Jim. Would you agree?
they're independent contractors. They're responsible for their own actions. You know, they're not under full contract with us. So if something happens to them, we don't have to cover anything with that. They know what the deal is when they sign their contracts.
Understood. All right. Hope you have a great show.
Thank you.
Our next question, I should say, comes from Cher Delaware representing P. Winsider.
Kick him out of here right now. No, kick him out. Kick.
I will. I actually will. That was very mean. Joe Burrow.
First off, I have 2 questions, and you're going to let me ask them both.
Oh my God! Everybody's just breaking the rules on this media call. I see why you guys aren't allowed on these things.
Who got your tickets for All Out? Shut up and let me.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You're getting told out, right, Jeremy? That's bullshit. There's no way you can go to a rival territory like that. That's not happening.
I'm not going to All Out. I don't work for AEW.
Nonsense.
No. You have a question?
Continue. Yes. Okay. My first question is, have you yet killed Adam Coleman?
We've tried. He's never allowed us. He's never signed the contract because we always explain he could die, and at that point, he seems to get a little bit cautious.
We signed him last show, Joseph. I know we make a lot of roster moves and stuff, but we did sign. Did
you sign Adam Coleman?
Yes, Adam Coleman. That is who we signed last show.
Okay.
He's not dead yet.
He's not dead yet, though. Okay.
Yeah.
He may be soon. By the time this airs, he may be.
That is true. And the second question is, why is Mike Johnson a bitch?
Ain't touching that one.
We've looked into that, and we have no further comment on that question. But we have looked into those actions and those allegations towards Mike Johnson.
Thank
you. I don't know enough. I don't get paid enough. Let's move on.
Next up, representing Music and Moonsaults, Christopher Bordine.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Chris, we're well. How are you?
We're alarmed by your setup here, though. This is only for real journalists, Chris. You know that, right? Have you seen the people that have been on here? He's high level, you know. I'm trust your question.
I'm trying to get on the level here.
I respect it. What's your question?
Well, obviously, the show's been built around the Bulls. They're the NWO, so to speak, of the promotion, considering we're coming right off NWO week. I would say, though, maybe your cruiserweight comparison might be Sherlex, who, by the way, great name for the guy. Whoever came up with that is a genius. Just kind of talk about Sherlex and his kind of arc throughout the season.
Actually, good question. Just destroyed by self-pandering filth. Okay, listen, I think, we always saw, Jeremy and I are fans of the business, right? And we would see Lex pushed as a top guy and babyface or heel and all this stuff. And we would often talk about, like, he's a detective. And I think we were frustrated by how we saw something the industry didn't. Yeah, he's a big muscular guy, but he's also pretty insightful, pretty intelligent, perspective, all that good stuff. So I think, in my view, we're just finally getting Lex where he needs to be. And like this next decade and more for Lex, to me and Jeremy, I think you'll be on board with it. It's like, we see him as a centerpiece of the company. Right now that we've rebranded him, got him where he needs to be, he's ready to go.
Well, they got to solve this mystery first, because I'll be honest with you, Joseph. If Sherlex and Stoke can't get this job done, they might be out of jobs. Like, we can't have a murderer running around here for another year or so. They got to solve this thing. They got to solve this thing very quickly. I give them 2 weeks. They have 2 weeks to do this.
I think that's a fair. You seem to be more worried about the murders than I am, which I appreciate. But like, at the end of the day, I'm thinking this from a wrestling perspective. There's money in that act. So I have a longer leash, I guess is my point. But nonetheless, we appreciate your question because it is an act that's getting over, right? There's nothing. You see the signs recently, right? Sherlex 316 and all that good stuff.
I haven't seen that sign.
Our next question comes from Rick Uccino from Sportskeeda.
Gentlemen, good day to you. Appreciate you guys finally allowing me to get in on this. I've been trying to hop in here for quite some time, and
this is all Joel Pearl's fault. I'm sorry he sucks, Rick. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, and I guess that's kind of where my question is. I'm feeling a little disrespected. I'm just wondering why you guys never approve any of my interview requests. I mean, seriously, I've been putting them in nonstop every time. This is the first time you guys will let me in. You're on like your second to last show.
Look, I don't want to do this live on the air because it's disrespectful. But look, we have got the sense more than once that you're trying to do some investigation, and I understand from the outside looking in, we look like a territory worth investigating. There's some murders, there's some stuff that's, look, I'm not going to pretend it's right, but at the end of the day, you've got to let the boys be boys. You know, when I came into this industry, there was a knife here and a gun there, and I feel like gentlemen like yourself with this kind of investigations, and you're asking questions, and the fellow earlier on that full site, you know, the fake full and all that, Phil, you guys you're trying to just limit our creativity from my perspective. So listen, if you prove us to us here, you belong at the dance, the show of shows, you'll be back, my friend. But like, I'm not getting this territory burned down by some just journalist trying to poke holes in our genius. Jeremy, this doesn't seem like our thing.
I think the fact that you just come on here and the questions about yourself and why you're not getting access is a little bit off-putting, to be honest with you, Rick. And you're probably never going to get access.
I'd just like to point out that I was brought on to moderate and not to pre-screen your questions.
I'd like to point out that you're doing a terrible job.
Well, win some, you lose some. Our next question comes from Jake Schwal.
Jeremy, Joseph, Joe, thank you for taking the time today out of your busy schedules to do this. Before I get into my question, I just want to credit you guys for your COVID protocols. 0 positive cases. Incredible job by you guys. I only have one question as a respectable journalism, and I respect this business. Kind of touched on earlier, any comments to the lack of Bob O'Neill leaking information to the Twitterverse, and has his laziness and lack of journalism potentially hurt BPW long term?
Wow, finally a real guy that gets it. This is what we're looking for. Okay, everyone that's in the StreamYard, if there's any of you left, follow his lead, okay? Because this is what I'm waiting to talk about. Dude, Bob O'Neill fucking sucks. I don't know what he's doing. We signed 10 guys a show. He tweets once every 3 months. I don't understand what he's doing. Look, I'm not paying him to be a fake journalist just so like he can pretend to do this stuff. I need the tweets. I need him to get this coverage up. So it's a good question, but I do want to quickly circle back. Thank you for giving us the credit we deserve, because earlier we were questioned about this, and we've been very open, right? If we don't test them, they ain't positive. And I think it's important that finally a journalist of your caliber comes on here and says, actually, let's give a thumbs up to the good guys for once. You know, we go after these. I'm not going to name them. We all know what I'm talking about, right? Carano, Bruce, all those guys over there that try to bring us down. We aren't no sloppy shop. Jeremy, you know this. But I wanted to thank you for that. And moreover, yes, Robert O'Neill is just terrible.
O'Neill's awful. That's all I have to say. I have no further comment on the COVID protocols. We've explained our process. We've had no positive tests. Our guys are just simply built different. Nobody has missed a show because of COVID. Everything is fine. Quit asking about the COVID protocols, everybody.
Yeah. Is it even real? We should get one of those sprays, Jeremy. Have you heard about those sprays they use in Orlando?
I have. It's apparently like a magic spray, and it like pierces through everything.
Yeah.
And it just completely wipes out the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm. It would be awful if we like trusted that was the thing and taped television, and then it was revealed that our whole roster tested positive. That would be terrible, right? If we were the ones, we would be out of business.
Yeah, we would never do that.
Yeah.
We have a few questions from the chat. Are we okay to take those?
No, the chat sucks. Joel, I say this every show. It's horrible.
Listen, they ask the questions. You're here to give those answers. Well, we'll start with Queen's Court, who asks, can you speak on the firings?
We haven't fired anybody. People are getting murdered, but it's the middle of a pandemic, so we haven't fired anybody.
We don't believe in that kind of thing. Listen, here's what I would say. Our identity in this business is best described like this. When the wrestling world shit its pants and fired everyone, Jeremy and I stepped forward and said, who wants a 10-year contract?
Yeah.
And I think if you listen, whether you like our product or don't, whether you agree with murder or don't, like, I think you should admire that much at least, right? Can we get something for that? Do we get a most impressive promotional tactic award for that one, Jeremy? I mean, what do you want from us here? But look, I understand the question was about other people's firings. Listen, we all expect it, right? In terms of morality, the league table says us, and there's a whole gap underneath. We'll lead that. We'll fight that battle, right? It's a losing one, but man, we're leading the way right now. I'm proud of it.
Follow-up question coming from Callahan Ray asking, one of the writers of Butt Culture has reported that BPW booker Joe Hulbert is in the works to acquire the NWA. Given the lack of prominent female talent in BPW and the upcoming NWA Women's Show, can we assume that a Miss New Booty tournament is in the works?
Well, look, firstly, I resent that comment about our women's division. I think we've been actually kind of blazing a trail in that regard. I think our top 2 stars, arguably, are in the women's division. But that's, neither here nor there. But look, I think when it comes to the NWA, there's someone that I met with those guys years ago, and their outlook was, they wanted to go straight round the side. And I said to Billy at the time, and I'm friends with Billy, I like him a lot, and I said to him, have you actually considered going straight up the middle? And he said, we can't go straight up the middle because we haven't got the streaming service, we haven't got the roster. I said, but hang on, have you looked at it? Have you tried to go straight up the middle? He hasn't, he didn't. And I think we're now at a point where, like, look, let's be honest, he's waiting for us to save him, and that's fine. If it gets there, it gets there. We're happy to bring on the belt that Funk, Rhodes, Race, and Hulbert all held. But at the end of the day, I'm always going to go back to that memory. Like, that sticks in my mind for sure. That's all I have to say about NW. But that comment about the women's division, frankly, that's disgraceful.
Filth on that. I trust that Joseph is not going to the NWA. I don't know if you've looked at their roster. It's not that great. Certainly doesn't have Mr. Ass on their roster. I don't even know if they have women's wrestlers on the roster. Like, great, they're going to do their little women's show. Hope it goes well. We have the best women's talent in the world. We have Britt Baker. We have Michael Jordan. Alexa Bliss. Kelly Flair. The Van. These are the top 4 women in the entire world. They're on our roster.
Tamina, too.
I said what I said.
We go back to the video questions to bring on Caleb of Twitter.com.
Yeah, my question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Unmute
my
your mic.
My question is about finance. While other companies are releasing superstars, you guys continue to sign people to 10-year deals like Walter. Can you just explain what your finances are like right now?
I mean, that seems awful. Again, this is my problem with you guys. Are you trying to be journalists, or are you going to just be fans? Because I would like you to be fans, frankly. I'm not really sure why you're asking about these inside stuff. But nonetheless, look, I think the answers in that regard.
Buddy.
Hang on a second, pal. I've got the mic right now. See this here? This is power. Jeremy, is it fair to say
do his job as usual?
Jeremy, is it fair to say we'll have the answers on that front soon? We're gonna make a statement at some point that I think will give a lot of a wider perspective on our finances. Right now, look at the buildings. Okay, do you see any empty seats? Because I am not seeing many, Jeremy. And like, to me, maybe I'm old school again, the guns, the knives, and all that good stuff. But like, that tells a tale, man. I look up and I see a packed house every damn time, and I'm proud of that. That's all I'll say for now. I don't have to defend myself.
We're the fastest growing promotion out there. We've been on the rise since we started in January. The buy rates keep getting bigger. The houses keep getting bigger. And even in the middle of the pandemic, we've let the fans in during the pandemic because we love the fans.
Right.
We make sure they're protected by not testing them and not asking questions.
Why make them worry about it? That's why, I was actually, and you know this, Jeremy, I shouldn't even say this on here, but like, sometimes I'll go out and I'll experience the show among the fans, right? Because I like to see how mere humans take in the stuff we produce. And a guy come up to me and he was like, listen, man, there's a guy next to me who's coughing an awful lot. Like, do you think we should, try and figure this out? I said, listen, are you going to enjoy this show or not? With all due respect, I'm not, look, I don't want to get political on here, guys, but, this is professional wrestling. At some point, you've got to go out there and enjoy a Sid Vicious match. And if you're sitting there sweating bullets because you're not sure if you've got COVID or not, I don't really know how much fun you're having, to be quite frank. Now, look, if things develop, I'm open to ideas. Again, we talked about the spray earlier, but like for now, have fun, man. Go enjoy yourself. We've got one of the greatest talent pools in the world with the greatest bookers in the world. I wouldn't be worrying about a mere coronavirus, personally. Jeremy, look, again, built different, right? Built different.
If you don't want to come to the show because you're worried about it, don't come to the show. It's okay. Yeah. Watch it at home. It's all right. We're not worried about it. Our fans are still coming in. Our fans are still flocking into the building. So if you're worried about this, whatever they call it, don't come. We got people with the mask. You can wear the mask. We have the one hand sanitizer station. I'm not sure the placement every arena, but we've got it. I promise it's there. Bring your own hand sanitizer. As far as Caleb's question about the financials, we're not a publicly traded company. We don't owe that to anybody. We can we keep that to ourselves. We're doing just fine. Don't worry about our financials. We're in no danger of going out of business. We're here for the long term. All right? We know there's a killer on the loose. We know there's bomb threats, but we're here for the long term.
We have another writing question coming from Throwback saying, with Booty Pro nearing the end of its glorious run, what is next for you guys and the future of the show?
I didn't know we were nearing the end of our run. We just have a big show to promote.
What I think he means the questions as they are written.
What I think
I think it's a dumb question. That's all I'm saying.
At this point in the game, we've done what we said we were going to do. We're going straight up the middle. Look, I think it's interesting. I don't want to speak for Jeremy on this. We dream about it a lot. Like, we intend to buy out every other promotion, right? And we were talking earlier, like, you know, we're just thinking big picture, you know. And Jeremy's like, what if we run the Tokyo Dome? What if we did, you know, Madison Square Garden, all this good stuff? And I was like, what if we started BPW UK? You know, and we just took a bunch of wrestlers no one cared about and jammed them into a territory and wasted our money on it. And Jeremy was like, now we're up around different. So if it was next, I would say wasting our money on projects that no one asked for. Would be my sell.
We've got ideas in the works, okay? We've got ideas in the works, but we're nowhere near our run. We have a big wedding episode coming up. It is our season finale, but then we'll be back. We'll be back.
More questions from the audience. Is the show going to interfere with Sid's softball schedule?
He hasn't missed a show yet. No.
We, you know, actually is interested. Sid sat down with us. We were trying to run the show, and Sid comes over to us and he goes, you know, can I talk with you guys for a moment? And he said, after a decade of working on top for every promotion in this industry, he still never wanted to wrestle more than he wanted to play softball until he met us guys. Right, Jeremy? And we both looked at each other to say, oh, this guy's, you know, he's poking around. Then we checked his contract and realized he still had 8 years left, and we realized he wasn't even messing. That's where he stands. So I think Sid's consistency has been a credit to us, honestly. Like, in fear of being arrogant, it shows you how good we are at this stuff, right, Jeremy?
It's fine. He's not missed a schedule. He's not missed an event yet. He's not worried about the softball. If he needs to take time off, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. All right? But for right now, he's doing just fine. We run a very limited schedule. It's just one show a week. He can play softball all the time on the weekends. Alexa's been taking him out and playing softball from what I've heard. Have you heard about this, Joseph?
You know, I hear a lot of stuff in that regard. I try to avoid it because, you know, I love working with those guys as talent, but their personal life is their personal life. That's all I would say in that regard. But I heard the same things, Jeremy. Pretty fun stuff.
Yeah.
Riley Walker asks, with the rumor of a potential explosion at the wedding, will you guys take notes from AEW Revolution on how to do a proper explosion?
Well, firstly, the fact that event even comes up in our conference call is disgraceful because they sent out those play wrestlers, you know, and we talk to Mox about this all the time. He's our guy now, right? And we go, they sent out Eddie Kingston to do a save at the end of a pay-per-view. You know, just embarrassing. It shows you how low they kind of ended up dropping down there before we killed them. But I'll say this, I don't get what the concern is about a thing called a ticking time bomb. It feels like general wrestling pander to me. I mean, it's a thing. Like, I don't expect it to actually blow up. It's just a ticking time bomb. It feels like it's just going to be a wrestler that does moves during. What about you? I mean, am I being silly here?
It's just a countdown. We've seen it. Yeah. Were people worried that everything was going to explode during the Chris Jericho countdown? Nobody worried that things were going to blow up.
Chris might have, but no one else did.
Yeah, I think it's just it's the fear, right, Joseph? That's the generation we live in. Everybody is just fearful of everything, just like with this virus. It's just you're fearful. You gotta not worry about these fears, and you just gotta go on and continue living your life. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Sean Burby asks, are there any celebratory plans for Britt Baker's big award for winning the Women's Wrestler of the Year?
I mean, she celebrates that every single week, so I would imagine that she has something big planned. We've talked to Britt. She wants to do some things, but she's accomplished everything.
It does feel like, and look, we can do this on air because I think people enjoy this kind of stuff. We pull back the curtain. It's like, if ever there's a talent, we should go a step further and not give a 10-year contract, but, you know, I'm talking 20, 30. I think Britt's the name for that, right? I mean, she's been incredible. We trusted her all that time ago to lead this division, and man, has she done it. We're very proud of our part in that. Not to say we've done it all, but we've done most of it, right? And she is now Michael Jordan, and I'm proud of that, man. That's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing for her to pull off. I mean, how she did that, again, I think the answers speak for itself. You're looking at them, but that's another thing.
I mean, we've talked to Britt about stock options in the company. We've talked to her about really locking her in to a deal that she'll be happy with and we'll be happy with. 10 years, definitely not enough, but we have big plans for Britt. She's, as we've said it for this entire year, she's Jordan. You don't just let Jordan walk and, sit out and go elsewhere. You make sure she stays and you give her what she wants.
An anonymous question has been asked, and it's, have there been any talks of Billboard Top 14 selling artist Mr. Cheeks of Light Camera Action fame working on a new theme song for BPW?
No.
It's not, as the Jeremy.
No. We've talked with Bubba Sparks. We've talked with him. Mr. Cheeks, I don't know. Is he related to Mr. Ass? I'm not sure. We've been in talk with Bubba Sparks and Cisco. They're going to do a collaborative remix for us.
We will take 3 more questions. The first one from Gurney Mack. What does the next 5 years look like for BPW? Who is going to be the next ace of the company? Great work by the bookers, and can't wait for the future of this territory.
Well, I don't want to pretend that I was ignoring you guys, but I just checked my phone and I got another email. And Jeremy's going to laugh at this. Every single week, Dave sends us one of these, and it's just reads one thing. Alexa Bliss, the most entertaining wrestler in the world. And, I trust that guy's track record. I don't want to give anything away, but, we're pretty confident that's our direction here. Right, Jeremy? At some point, if every single week that's the award she wins, even when she features in 2-minute cold opens, barely talks, it feels like our audience is telling us something. So I would go in that direction. We've got so much time. I mean, Kroz, you talk about it factor in this business. I see Kroz as to me, he's a Brock Lesnar. And I don't say that lightly, guys. Brock's obviously someone that we've always talked to, and I think he'll be here one day. But he's that special, man. It factor, next big thing, and all that good stuff. So, I think they're the names I would circle. What about you, Jeremy?
Definitely Alexa with the awards she's winning. The Goon, I have a long-term plan with the Goon. Don't worry about him, everybody. That's been my guy since day one. That was a guy that I fought for to get in this promotion. And people are like, why aren't you doing more with the Goon? What's up with the Goon? Why aren't you pushing him more? I'm like, guys, you gotta give it time. All right. You gotta have patience. Okay. You don't worry about this stuff. Worry about your own territory. How's that doing? Don't worry about the Goon. It's
amazing, right? You see this stuff and you can't help but feel sorry for these people because, they're sitting there and they're quarterbacking in the game from their couch. And it's like, at what point do you just stop doubting us? Just trust us. We'll get you the answers. Just stick with us. We haven't got to set you wrong yet, right? A couple guys have died. We're going to figure that part out. The rest of this thing has been foolproof.
And we have a question from Dan J, representing 12340, asking, how do you think the van has done since signing? Do you believe she's met expectations?
I mean, I just think it says a lot about us that we were sitting there and the firings that came up earlier, they came to light. And we were looking at the list and, Vanessa Bond, formerly obviously the van now in our promotion, she came up and Jeremy goes to me, what do you want to do? Do you want to watch the matches? I said, listen, man, she's just posted a 90-second video on Twitter. I think there's something here. Jeremy saw it. Next thing you know, it's a weekly segment on TV. I mean, I'm not saying she's The Rock, but she's certainly Dwayne Johnson-esque. And if we can get her closer to that Rock kind of, feat, I'll consider that. To be at that point, it's game over. Because, look, we're the number one right now, guys. If the van gets where we believe she can, there is no number two. We're the only one in the league table. So she's been great. She'll continue to be great. We're all in. We're ready to go.
It took us a little bit for her to kind of find her footing, right, Joseph? It was a little mixed there to start. And then we just realized, we've got 4 minutes to fill. What if we just put the van out there and just have her cut shoot promos on everybody? And we're like, man, this is great. This is easily fill 4 minutes. And she goes out there and she fills that 4 minutes fantastically. And her star is just going to continue to rise.
There was one week where, and listen, I don't say this to be mean, but she'll know this is the truth. So there's nothing wrong with it. She wasn't sure about going out there and cutting a live promo because we weren't sure how the format was going to be. And I said, well, look, it's very simple. Cut one of those promos like you tweeted that time, selfie style, and we'll put that thing on TV. That thing came in, and this is no one spotted this, and this is the level we're operating at. That thing came in at 2 minutes, and we just looped it. She just said the same shit twice in a row, and our audience loved every minute of it. The minute by minute ratings, they wanted more. They wanted to hear it again. So I think that speaks volumes. And look, let's be honest, she's not saying anything wrong, right? She's saying the truth. These other promotions suck. The business is dead other than BPW.
I invite Luis Polito back one last time with a question
Why?
that he has begged and begged to ask. Go ahead, Luis.
Good evening. Now, one last final question. I wanted to ask about the countdown. Is there the idea on moving the venue in order to prevent the bomb going off, or should it just going steamrolling?
What kind of cowardice is this? I mean, with all due respect, do you guys watch wrestling? Are you guys fans of this stuff, or are you just like stories? Gene, what is going on here? It's called a ticking time bomb, guys, right? It does not mean there's going to be an actual bomb going off anytime soon at a professional wrestling event. Can we all calm down a little bit? Seriously, Jim, this is out of hand now. The Undertaker, he wasn't actually killing anyone. He might have the guns and the knives, but he wasn't murdering anyone out there, okay? He wasn't. This is outrageous. I can't deal with this stuff anymore. The cerebral assassin, what about that dipshit over there? Okay? He's not assassinated much recently.
He's assassinated an entire country, but it's been, I don't understand this fear either. The EP asked me, she's like, how are you going to protect the fans? How are you going to protect the fans? What do you mean protect them from what? It's fine.
Same way we always have. Let them enjoy themselves, right?
Yes.
They have fun at our shows. It's not a matter of health and safety. It's a matter of just enjoying yourself, embracing the entertainment.
If we get a couple of casualties, it's okay. Sure, Lex and Stoke are on this. Orange Cassidy and Yano, the family, one last ride, they're on this. Don't even worry about this ticking time bomb. Okay, everybody? Because we have Orange Cassidy, we have Yano, we have Sherlex, we have Stoke on this. They're going to find the time bomb. They're going to disable it. You ever seen that movie with, who's it? The Dolph Ziggler? You ever seen this movie, Joseph? The bomb is strapped to, I don't know the name of the movie. It sucked. It went straight to DVD. But like the bomb is like strapped to the kid or whatever, and he saves it and stuff. If that kid had blown up, would it have been that big of a deal? Would have been fine, right? Just continued to.
It's a double standard, right? Yeah. When they do stuff over there, because they're the industry leader of a decade ago, they get a pass. But the guys that are called Booty Pro Wrestling, everything has to be investigated and looked into. And listen, I don't know how many more questions I've got here, Joe, but quite frankly, you guys have got. I mean, listen, I understand that you guys consider this like a job, a profession. Like, go be a fan, man. I mean, are you like going to these buildings? Are you seeing the joy, the smiles on faces that we provide? Seriously, because look, again, I'll do it again. I don't care. I'm sitting there in the crowd, okay? And there is Sid Vicious. And there is Alexa Bliss. I turn a row of people, tears from their eyes, okay? And this is just the start of a story. And I'm left to sit there and think, isn't it incredible tonight online some dipshit's going to give this show a 6 out of 10. Meanwhile, 100 people just cried their eyes out watching this thing, you know? I mean, that's the kind of thing we're looking for emotion. We're looking for power. That's what we want. We want these people to enjoy themselves. Not some mark online to say it's good. I don't care about that. It means nothing to me.
We invite, if you're that worried about things, we invite you to come down to the show.
We don't. They suck.
Right?
They suck. No. They deserve no coverage.
Put your money where your mouth is, okay? Yeah. Come to the show, and if you're that concerned about things, just come enjoy it. I promise you, we're going to put a smile on your face, all right?
Final question comes from AEW Tope Suicida, who asked a question reminiscing on the end of BPW's run. I would like to congratulate you two gentlemen on winning Booker of the Year. With the heart and soul of the company being Sid and Britt, do you two have any favorite memories of the two?
Man, so many, right?
Yeah.
Between
just
Sid
first,
and Britt.
like, do you remember us just that idea and like them two being just startled that we would even suggest such a thing? And then as soon as they actually had a segment, it was like, I vividly remember Britt turning to Jeremy and being like, well, you're the greatest ever at this. You know, and Jeremy points at me as if to say, we both are. And that's the truth. It's the crown jewel of the promotion, obviously. It's moved people. It's been an emotional roller coaster. I'm really excited to conclude that tale in the fashion it deserves, in a truly grand, dramatic, authentic production. They're wonderful. They're two of the greatest wrestlers ever. You know, I mean, I think if anyone has a case with the most entertaining wrestler in the world outside of Lecture, it's those two, right? How wonderful have they been?
The Bulls, right, Joseph? The Bulls. Like, it's tough to name the favorite Sid and Britt moment. I mean, all of them, just all of them. There was the basketball. All the basketball. Sid. Remember Sid being adorable? He was very confused. He's like, "Hey, I thought we were doing wrestling. I thought we were playing softball. No, it's basketball, Sid. It's okay." Britt with the press conferences. Remember the dentistry? She had to fix Sid's tooth very recently. Like, just adorable moments between those two. Very excited for them. Very excited for what the future holds with them.
It means a lot to people, man. And again, listen, I'm not trying to be a carny promoter here from the major leagues. I'm telling you as it is. This promotion means a lot to people. This is a movement, man. This isn't just some mere territory that will come and go. This is something that people live their lives to experience. And that means a lot to me. Regardless of what, .com here and .com there says, like, we're doing something truly powerful. And that's what we're most proud of. Obviously, if you're not on board with that, then you can always just not watch.
We thank the media and those listening for their time. There will be a recorded version of this call available for any subsequent review. Jeremy Lambert, Joseph Hulbert, do you have any final comments leading into the BPW finale?
Watch the show on Friday. 3 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. Watch the season finale. I promise you, you're not going to be disappointed. All right? I promise you. Big things are going to happen. Tremendous show. Our best lineups ever, Joseph. Our best lineups ever.
I guess here's what I would say, and I know that this is going to be a controversy and people are going to be upset about how I handled this, but I'm passionate, and that's the truth. But here's what I would say. Please watch and cover our show with your full attention, unless you don't like it. In which case, don't watch until the next time we ask you to watch and cover our show with your full attention. And I think that's a fair relationship. Seems balanced enough to me, Jeremy. If you're going to be critical, before you hit send on that tweet, think about what we've given you today, your credentials, the privilege you've had of coming on talking to us. Think about it. That's all I would say. It's not a threat. It's a mere recommendation and suggestion.
Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of housekeeping, some thank yous. We'd like to thank Hey Bro, It's Brad, Dylan_WWE, Roz Gibby, Silent One, Lanum, Spunky Love Light, Gav29, Kadon Deck IC. Thank you for the follows. Sean Burby gifting out a tier 1 sub. We thank you for that. We'll figure out who that went to in a moment as I scroll up a little bit and I try to find it, but I can't. Did I find it? No. Ibanez Chris, thank you for extending your tier 1 sub. It's been 5 months. Thank you. We started a hype train. Throwback with bits. Sean Burby with bits. K-Steets with a massive bits. Thank you. With Throwback with more bits. JJ with bits. Throwback more bits. Drew Nicholas, many more bits. Thank you. Riley Walker with the bits. J-Ben, thank you for the bits. Queen's Court gifting a tier 1 sub to Kate on deck. And Drew Nicholas gifting 10 tier 1 subs. We'll read out to whom those subs were given. Torion, I Am Watoza, Brian K 1994, Omar Steam, Third Chuckle Bro, King Caleb MMA, Empor 316, Fight Talk, New York 2120, NY 2120, and Luke Grieg. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. We look forward to the BPW finale. And to you, a good evening.
Chat still sucks. Watch the show, everybody.